Okay, problems with Louisiana. All right, currently I'm just coming from traffic court to where I was arrested for a traffic violation. They're saying I ran a stop sign. I told them I didn't. There was an illegally parked truck that obstructed the view. Um, the cops want to tell the supervisor that I almost hit them, whereas they almost hit me, which justified them charging me with reckless operation. In 2015, like say November or something, I went to court. Everything was processed. No pro sequel or whatever. Here's the list of all the different things. And what happened is the ADA dropped the charge or whatever, but then wanted to turn around and pick it back up. So he supposedly sent me a court notice. Never received court notice. It went to court, and they wanted to charge me a contempt of court charge, right? So I go in today, and initially they told me it moved to Section B. 8 o'clock. Well, 9 o'clock is Section B takes in. So I went this morning to talk to them. They told me I had to come back for 2 o'clock, which was in A section or whatever, and so this was the original judge I went through before. So 2 o'clock. All right, I went there at 9, went back at 2. So I'm there at 2 o'clock. I'm waiting. It's DWI day or whatever. So they're taking all the attorneys and DWI cases first and foremost. And then my name gets called, and I get taken back to the judge's chamber to talk to his secretary. Because, like I told them, whenever they told me, I came in to um, change my date for another ticket and found out that they said they had picked this one back up. So they processed me or whatever. They kind of did away with the contempt of court charges, and then they gave me a letter to reinstate my driver's license, which it never was suspended or so. But I go in, and this one secretary takes me over to this other secretary or whatever, right? So we're sitting there, and they're talking about that the ADA basically put it into the notes that he was forced to drop the charges and so forth. And for some reason, I made it look like the judge forced him. He had a right to continue at least once. And they had on the thing that the officers never were even subpoenaed. So the second secretary, got upset. She was mad because she was like, "This is that lady's job. My judge is not even in. We don't do stuff like this. It's her job to correct this, and her judge is in, and such, blah blah blah, and so forth." Clearly, she was getting upset, frustrated. Me, I'm standing there, and I'm just like, "Can you imagine my frustration? How I feel about? All right, you're getting heated. Just a little, 5 minutes interruption of your time or whatever. I had to come from Hammond. Actually, I did it twice today, because I had to go to Hammond and move my stuff to storage. Put it in it because I'm moving back to Shreveport, going back to tech, baby, finish my degree and everything, move forward in life, continue my film career and so forth, and hopefully being critically, Oscar winning actor soon. But yet and still, there's certain issues in our society that we really need to address. This guy, he was kept telling me, choose my battles, choose your battles, choose your battles, choose your battles. Okay, number one thing is you got to understand who I am. Me, I'm a Christian. If I come across a problem, I am obligated to address it. Now, how long I carry it, how long I pursue it, and this and that is all contingent upon me feeling vindicated or just, justified and whatever, everything taken care of. But initially, I have to address the shortcomings, and especially being here in America, there's so many things. We're in a society that bullies, forces their will, and takes advantage of the poor. Jesus came for the poor. So here I am, I'm for the poor. I'm basically going through different things and documenting the issues. You know, in traffic court, there's coercion, there's intimidation, there's extortion tactics that are used. And this is a court of law, and the judge is using this. He locked me up for telling him, well, Judge Shea, whatever. He put me in the back, detained me because I told him you seem more interested about money than justice. Oh, you want to be a smart ass. That's what he told me. So there's certain things that we as citizens, first and foremost, too. I'm a father. I'm a parent. So things that I come across, possibly my kids will have to deal with this later on in their life as well. So if I don't address it, that's just leaving more headache, more hardship, more disappointment for my kids to face and deal with whenever they come about, to whereas, hey, I got issues that I can document. I can tell you about my experiences. I can tell you, and pass on my knowledge of understanding. If not, change the system as a whole, because we need to protect our citizens. America, everybody's talking about this Bernie Sanders socialist and comparing them to communists and so forth. But yet and still, it's like socialist society invests in its citizens, gets them to college, gets them, medical and all this other stuff, takes care of them so they take care of their responsibility to their government. That's how it operates. That's how everything operates. One hand washes the other hand. You do your part, I do my part, and we'll all coexist peacefully. But no, not here in New Orleans. Ignorance, and that's what it came to mind with the secretary getting upset. I kind of thought about, why don't you train her? Why don't you show her what you know? Why don't you pass on your knowledge? No, that's too easy, I guess. I don't know, I can't speak for the other lady. I can't speak for no one else but myself. But that is what I see that I would have done. Because it's not necessarily just a problem with the traffic courts. It's a problem with municipal courts, incompetence, idiots. It's a problem with criminal courts, idiots. They freaking changed the number on my docket, and I done went 3 times for an arraignment for this one charge because they changed the numbers. And then I get rude treatment from the judge when I bring it to his attention. I'm like, hey, no, I'm here for a trial. No, you're here for an arraignment. How the hell? Hold on, here's the blah, blah, blah. And he sees the problem, but doesn't address it, doesn't correct it, just continues on his course of action. I guess trying to manage his time, but letting these issues continue to exist. That's the problem, And I'm realizing the education system, it's the blame, There's a lot of people that are falling through the nooks and cracks and crannies, having mental issues that are not being diagnosed, not being. That's what I realize. It's like now I'm spending my time with, I got these 2 little projects. One of them, she dropped out of school at 8th grade, and it's like she gets a monthly check. And a lot of things, like say she gives me a massage on my back and different things. I noticed the ADD, and I noticed also the similarities with her and my ex. My ex, man, she was like giving me a pedicure or something, helping my feet one time, and she had this little scrubber to scrape the dead skin off my bottom of my feet, and she took the blade out, and I told her before she took the blade, be careful, you scare me. And then she ended up cutting my foot up wide open, deep, right? It wasn't like no little cut. Like what the so there's a lot of issues, like I said, especially with New Orleans population. It is. Yeah, I can't help it, man, because it's just I feel sorry for them for the most part, but yet and still, it's like some people you got to realize certain things are for you, and there's this system, the way the system is, we gotta address issues as they present themselves and make sure we leave our mark, make an impact as a citizen, because especially with children, drop the phone. Especially with children, following us. Our children are our future. We don't inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. So we gotta make sure everything is right and copacetic for our kids later on when they're adults and they're having to deal with different things. Problems with Louisiana. Judicial system, incarceration capital of the world with the highest overturned convictions. It's a problem, people. And we gotta start doing our civic duty to address them.